welcome back to the Scale Forward podcast. Today, I'm here with Amit, co-founder of GAI Ventures. GAI Ventures is a studio that builds B2B vertical AI companies. Amit, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Russell. Thanks for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure. Can you tell us more about what you're doing at GAI Ventures? What is your work there? When did it start? And what exactly do you do?
We started last year. I invested in a company, pretty much wrote the first check. Kushal, my co-founder, CTO, he's AI legend. He was a research scientist, wrote research papers in AI, worked on some very hard problems to solve. And once we started talking, we were like, let's do this together. We started building vertical AI companies in the US market, B2B vertical AI companies. And the way we are structured is that we are a venture builder. So we build companies and invest in them. And we primarily focus on US market.
Right. So started a year ago, met a really cool founder. What is your background though, career-wise? Can you talk us through that, sort of the last 10 years?
Yeah, I built and sold a company in the fintech space. We were quite early even then. We started the company in 2013. It was called Medici Global. Actually became like something, it came to be known as the Bloomberg of fintech space. And basically sold the company in 2021 to Prove, which is a New York-based unicorn in the identity authentication fintech space. After that, I basically wanted to, start a fund because I had made about 30 investments, led a lot of syndicates into fintech companies and AI companies all over the place. And then some of them were doing well. We got exits. And so it gave me a lot of confidence that maybe I can start my own fund. I always wanted to build as well. Like I think just doing VC was not actionable enough or action enough. Right? I wanted to build and invest. And so venture builder model is just perfect for that.
Sounds like you like to stay busy is what you're trying to say. Rather than building one company, you want to, yeah, that's what it sounds like for sure. Yeah. I mean, one is enough of a headache. Okay. So long career history in the space, venture building, you like to solve some problems. Let's say you're starting something new or you're going into a new venture. What are some of the decisions that you look for picking a vertical?
Yeah, I think given our background, like the three of us who are building GAI Ventures and the investment side, we all have spent a lot of time in financial services and fintech. So I talked about my background. Our third partner, Vijay, he used to work in 500 Global, the VC firm. And then he worked in BBVA Ventures, the venture arm of BBVA Bank. And then, my co-founder CTO, from the AI side, he was also a CTO of a fintech company. So a lot of background, over the last 15 years in financial services and fintech. So that is definitely one of our major verticals. And then followed by commerce and enterprise productivity. Enterprise productivity just happened like by chance. Financial services, of course, is very big for us because of our backgrounds, and followed by commerce because there's a lot of overlap between commerce and payments and fintech. We usually say that payments is the last part of the commerce journey, and with BNPL and all the other fintech solutions, commerce and fintech are intertwined. So commerce, is definitely like front and center of what we are doing. There are things like browser automations using AI, browser use, and all of that coming up. Enterprise productivity actually happened by chance. So when we were starting last year, because I was investing a lot into companies, I was doing syndicates and SPVs into startups. I told Kushal, my CTO and co-founder that, and this was really the first thing that we built together, which led to GAI Ventures. I told him, because we were using a lot of WhatsApp, I said, can we create a multi-agent system within WhatsApp that could basically manage my emails and calendar and, notes and to-dos. And then, in 1.5 months, he did build that. This was before multi-agent systems were a craze, before Manus came out and before, Comet Assistant came out. So because of that, we realized that there's a lot of stuff that you can automate in an enterprise. There's serious enterprise productivity applications that can be built. And so that is our other vertical. So we have actually sort of pre-decided that we will largely build and invest in these three.
Right. Okay. And you came to those decisions based on your expertise and skills and background. Now, when you're looking to solve a problem, are you looking at anything? Are you looking at TAM? Are you looking at specific data? Who's integrating with what and who isn't? What gaps are you looking for to fill?
What we do is that we have a very defined process and a system for dealing with all this. And given that we are building multiple companies as a venture builder, we had to come up with a system. A good venture builder cannot operate without having a very defined process. So here is what goes, right? So we actually publish an investment thesis in each of these three areas. So for example, in financial services, we have published AI in accounting, AI in compliance, in lending, and so on. And similarly, we have published other investment theses in which there will be, in any particular, let's say in AI and accounting, we would have talked about like 10 different use cases of AI. And then we publish it, and then founders actually reach out to us who have similar thinking, ideas within those investment theses. But let's say our ideas are at 30,000 feet level or 5,000 feet level, they will come up with a very specific problem that they are trying to solve. So it's very good for us. It basically goes from something very broad to something very narrow within that general construct that we had. And then we start discussing with them about that particular problem statement. And then we look at it from various different angles. Yes, the TAM, SAM, SOM is one part of the thing. But what we do is a 4-week exercise where we try to go out and talk to companies and people in that area and find out from them specifically for that particular problem and solution, whether they would sign up as a design partner or even as a paid customer. That 4-week exercise is equivalent to in the consumer, like, how people used to do consumer apps and they will put up a website and see how many people signed up if they did some Google ads and Facebook ads. This is our B2B vertical AI version of that. We reach out to our common network and ask them whether they will want to sign up as a design partner or client. And most of the times what happens is that in some cases, there was like literally nobody who wanted to sign up. So it was very clear that this is not a problem worth solving. And in some cases, even though we had 4 weeks, we had 2 design partners signed up in the first week. So through that, we are also checking the ability of the founder to sell the network that they have, and whether we have that network or not. It actually answers a lot of such questions. And this is perfect for us because we, as a very technical venture builder, we are going and partnering with experienced founders as opposed to like 20-year-olds. Our motto is that, build companies with people who have 10, 15, 20 years experience. So these are people generally in the 30s and 40s, and they come with a lot of network and experience. So this kind of an exercise also like sort of takes them out of their comfort zone and you have to test yourself out if you can actually reach out to the broader audience and have those embarrassing discussions. And there's a lot of rejection in that. So yeah, both, like all of us are in it and we go through the exercise.
Right. Don't discount the 20-year-olds though. There's some pretty cracked, as they say, 20-year-olds out there who are doing some pretty amazing stuff. So if you are listening and you are a young founder, keep grinding, keep going. It's just, what would I say about that? There's still value in partnering with somebody who is years ahead of you, because I still don't think that, these 20-year-olds move at such a speed that some of these older founders don't. And so there could be a good crossover there. That'd be my 2 cents.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's this whole world of VCs and accelerators and everybody who is backing those 20-year-old. And yes. I have also invested. In fact, I would say, I would also like to argue that 95% of the ecosystem is actually investing in very young founders, people in their 20s. We felt that a lot of experienced folks who have 10, 15, 20-year experience in an industry, they know these problems in and out, but they don't get that same kind of support. In fact, most of the cases, they are not able to gather the courage to leave their, big and get funded. So we thought like we can actually cater to that segment because we ourselves are a very technical venture builder and we have developed a startup system.
Okay, I like that. All right. So, and what is the typical role of a partner? So what do they own? What domains do they own? How do you keep scope from crossing over or ballooning? What guardrails do you have in place there?
So you mean between the 2 different companies that we are building, right?
Yeah.
As I said, these are all experienced founders. They come up with very niche areas. For example, somebody may want to build something in the construction management industry, like an enterprise search function. Somebody will come up and want to build, let's say, document processing for mortgage lending, right? So these are like very, very specific ideas. Our concept is that till the time that we are helping you build and putting money in your company, there should be no overlap. And after 5 years, like when you are independent companies, you may want to do whatever you want to do and you may start competing because of one guy is coming from a vertical perspective, another is coming from a horizontal perspective. There may be some overlaps, but at least till the time that we are building and investing, there's no overlap. These are like totally different fields.
Can you walk me through, let's say we've partnered, what's your first sort of 90-day playbook? What would it look like working together sort of in the first 3 months?
The initial 2 weeks is just brainstorming, discussion, trying to make them explain like what is our process, and they asking a lot of questions around venture builder, equity, cap tables, the usual things.
Right.
And then we start the 4-week process that I described earlier, which is, we call it the customer development process. So at the end of the 6-7 weeks, we actually are pretty clear that whether we want to go ahead or this is not going to work. Even the founder is very clear that whether they want to go ahead, is it working? Is this an idea worth pursuing? And after that, we spend another couple of weeks to, basically write down the product features, the specific customer segment that we want to start with, and a few other things, and basically lay down the product roadmap. So that's how like the first 90 days look like. Okay. We also put an initial check, right at the onset.
The most important thing. Okay, we'll get to sort of your playbook for go-to-market and product, finding product market fit in a second. But I'm just curious, what's your baby right now? What's your main focus over there at GAI Ventures? What are you currently building that's taking up most of your time?
In February this year, we started looking at the US RIA space, registered investment advisors, wealth advisory firms. There are about 35,000 of them. They manage like $25 trillion of money. And, basically we said like we can help these wealth advisors spend more time with their customers, which are investors, as opposed to in the back office and admin work and note taking, document processing, onboarding customers. So our idea was to build AI to take care of all of this admin and, para planning kind of work. So we started building this company from March onwards after, this initial exercise of talking to some customers. And so over the last 6 months, we have actually built the solution, got our SOC 2 Type 2 and, other security certifications. And we have about 11 customers who manage about $1.5 billion of AUM. So that has been the focus for a while. And now we are in the process of carving out that company because it has hit some of the milestones, like number of customers and so on. And looks like it can now scale. So we'll carve out and put a check in the company. And right now we are already looking at 2 other spaces. I can talk about one of them, which is basically we are building a modern version of enterprise search, which is also a take on knowledge management, like knowledge assistants, and plus it can take action. So imagine like a company, mid-sized company or a large-sized company, and you join and you wanted to know what is their HR policy in a specific area, what is the paternity leave. You can ask all these type of questions. You can also ask that, this guy Amit, what is his role in the company, and things like that. And any other questions around product, services, and the way it works is that our AI system is implemented very easily. It's a quick implementation. It connects to all the different systems and you can start asking questions. We index the data. We are able to then do semantic searches for unstructured data and also searches on structured data. But then we also help them improve their knowledge base from which it is pulling up the answers by saying, like, most of your users actually did not find that answer relevant because you have not updated this policy, or there are like 6 things we found in the emails and other communication which is much more sophisticated or latest or better, right? So basically improve their knowledge management and databases, and then also take some actions. Like, for example, you will say, okay, what is the paternity leave that my company has? And then the response comes in that this is this. And then you will say, okay, can you send an email to whoever, like the company policy says you have to copy like these 7 people, including your direct manager and, unit head and the HR manager. So it'll create an email, put all the email IDs, create, whatever has to be put, and then send out the email as well.
Nice. Very, very complex. Very good. But let's not skip. We can dive in on that one in a minute. I want to talk about the first one that you spoke about, because you dropped some big numbers. You dropped the first client, first paying customer, after a very short amount of months building it, validating it, who are managing for wealth managers who are managing 1.5 billion. You kind of just glazed over like that was nothing. So let's run it back and let's go back to that. Are we name dropping the tool? What's it called?
It's called FastTracker AI.
Okay, great. So for FastTracker, 11 paying customers, can you take us back to, let's say you validated, you spoke to people, you built it. How did you get the first paying customer?
I think the first customer actually came via our network. Like one of us actually knew somebody who knew this RIA.
It's the best
and
way.
they thought it would be a good idea for them to be exposed to this particular service.
Okay. And did you just reached out to them saying, hey, we're doing this thing. Would you mind being a champion, trying it out, giving us feedback? Or did you just say, hey, we built this thing, pay for it and use it?
No, we actually made them a design partner first because it was very much in the beginning. We didn't want to charge them something if it didn't work really well. So we made them a design partner and then eventually converted them. A lot of the other customers actually came from few different channels, including events, conferences, and so on.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that. So you were going to events as well. Which channel so far has been the most successful in terms of getting eyeballs on FastTracker or even acquiring paying customers?
So let me just first name different channels that we have tried. I'll also tell you what has worked and what has not worked.
Yes, please.
I'm sure it helps other AI founders as well. So we have tried everything. Okay, so we have a lot of data and insights on that. Let's start with some of the stuff that does not work. So with AI, writing emails, which is a great thing. The sad part of it is that now people are sending gazillion emails to these RAs, which means that nobody opens emails. Email is dead as a channel for at least this segment. Then we tried out voice AI, sales calls, right? We basically tried out some of the best products in the market. We tried out our own, but nothing works because every single tool, the best of the best, which has people have raised like $50 million in this segment, everything gets stuck at the voicemail itself. If there's a voicemail, nothing works. Absolutely nothing works. We have tried out like 7 of the top 10 products. Okay, so because of voicemails and some of these issues, voice sales AI did not work. And then the thing which we were banking upon a lot has given decent results. I would not say up to our expectations, but content marketing has actually worked to some extent. And to be honest, like at Medici, in my previous company, we have a big background in content marketing because we basically built that company to about $2.5 million in annual revenue with zero Google ads or any other spend, purely based on content marketing. And so we basically just use the same playbook. We have a podcast for FastTracker AI in which we bring RIAs who are our potential customers as well. And we have done like 15, 20 episodes of that. We also publish a lot of articles, including a lot of stuff around SEO, building cornerstone pages and publishing articles and increasing the word density.
You tried a couple of things. You're saying email's dead. I want to push back on that afterwards because I love email still. So that'll be a great topic. A couple of the other things didn't work for you, but you eventually landed on content marketing and the podcast method. So those were your big wins. Can you talk us through those?
Yeah. We actually spend a lot of time publishing some great content on the website in the blog section. We also do, all these other SEO things like building cornerstone pages and increasing the word density and things like that. And then on the podcast, we bring in potential customers, which are RIAs, owners of RIAs. And we have done about 15, 20 episodes, and it's almost like one every week. So that also is helping us build our network in that space as well. The other thing which has worked really well is conferences and events. And so we have attended every major conference or event which happens in this space in the US, specifically around RIAs. Usually most of them happen in, either in Miami and Florida, or they happen on one of the beaches in California. So the founder of FastTracker also, these are interesting conferences. You meet a lot of people, very well organized. So that has helped. And then I think what has also helped is just word of mouth. So you of course need to seed all this with some initial marketing, through these events and content marketing and podcast. But then the word starts spreading. So that is what is happening. We are also evaluating now, some associations and industry bodies with whom we are partnering and sending out a few newsletters and emails and basically reaching out to their membership communities.
Right, and focusing on building partnerships as a way to unlock some more. Yeah, I think that's a really good one too. Events as well. It's just, if you can, are really good, right? Like getting boots on the ground. That's the hardest thing. But I just want to pick your brain on the podcast. Is that you that's hosting that?
No, that is the founder of FastTracker AI, Vineet, who's hosting that.
It's quite intensive and time consuming. So a lot of founders, they don't love the idea. However, I think they're really solid for building content, your brand, founder led, build in public, but also word of mouth network. And then they're really great lead magnets. So for any founder that's listening, if you could commit even just one episode a week is better than nothing, just to get your face out there. I know it's kind of awkward jumping and talking on the camera and stuff first of all, but I think for now, podcasts are working really, really well. But like anything, next year they might not, but for now they are.
So we have a saying in venture that for every successful startup, there's generally one channel that you are absolutely awesome at.
Yeah.
And we have still not figured out what is it for FastTracker AI, but there are a few things which are working, as I mentioned earlier.
Yeah, so you just double down on those, right? And see how much value you can extract from that channel. How quickly did you kill email? Did you just say like, I don't know, 5,000 emails and then just go, this is not worth it for us, or did you give it a red hot go?
So very interestingly, we actually have every RIA email address in the US, right? So, which means that we could send emails to everyone. And so we have sent thousands and thousands of emails. And we have tried out like every single format that every large influencer has suggested, on the internet, or some of our own tricks and techniques. I think to be honest, cold calling actually works much better than cold emailing in this particular segment. And there's a reason for that, because a lot of wealth advisors and RIAs are expecting, potential new customers to call them.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you. You've tested it. So I just off camera be curious to see some of these scripts, because what these influencers, if these influencers are already onto it, chances are that they don't really work anymore.
Yeah, I would love to get the whole thing reviewed by you. I think
that'd be amazing. Yeah, I think it'd make for a good time. So happy to do that. Let's connect after. But partnerships, can you talk more about partnerships? Are they coming from the podcast, or are you just calling them up saying, hey, this is what we do, we're looking for people to partner with, are you interested?
For partnerships, we are trying out 2-3 different things. One is there are associations. So we reach out to them and we say that this is the product that we have, or products that we have. It will be helpful for your members. How can we partner? They have different, methods and systems in place already. And in most cases, they do have other partners as well. So it's pretty straightforward. It's a pretty mature experience there. Similarly, there are trade bodies. On the other hand, if you are going and trying to partner with like consultants or, consulting firms, then it is a different conversation in each case.
Right. What are some other bottlenecks that you're struggling with in terms of maybe even product development or marketing? What's keeping you up at night?
Yeah, in terms of product development, we have this one very interesting area which we want to develop a product. It's a very complex field within this RIA workflows. And in order to build it, you have to literally sit down with 5 people who know this industry in and out. So of course it helps because the founder of FastTracker worked in financial services, including wealth, for 15 years, 7 in the US, 7 in Europe and Hong Kong. So he has a pretty good understanding, but then this goes even further deep in the trenches. So just sort of being able to get their time and spend that time with them to lay out the entire workflow, to be able to automate it, is something that we are going through. It's very time consuming and not easy. And I think we have a very high conversion rate. So if we are talking to like 10 RIAs, we'll convert like 8 or 9 of them. So basically our effort is to be in front of as many RIAs as we can.
So in other words, like honestly, this is everybody's quote unquote problems, is lead gen. We need more leads. We need more leads. We need more leads. So you're not alone there, that's for sure. What's your 12-month sort of roadmap or goals look like for FastTracker AI specifically, and then even at a higher level, GAI Ventures?
Yeah, I can talk more about GAI Ventures because frankly, now the company FastTracker is run by the founder, Vineet.
Okay.
And, he has a certain plan for the next 12 months. But, it's the usual thing, right? We have a third product module in the pipeline that we are working towards. getting more customers, getting to larger customers, our RIAs with managing like $5 billion and so on. It's possible now because we have SOC 2 Type 2, we have good clientele so far. So that's the roadmap there. As far as GAI Ventures is concerned, we are building one or two companies at any point of time. And I mentioned about the enterprise search knowledge management company. It's called Swik AI. So we are going to focus a lot on that. And then there's another area that we are actually exploring. We have a couple of founders that we are talking to. That's what will keep us busy, I think, for the next 8 to 10 months.
What was that called again? Sorry, how do you spell it?
It's called Swik AI, SWIK.
Okay.
And that's the URL as well, swik.ai.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. Well, everyone should go check that out. We'll put links and stuff down below as well. Okay, let's switch and do what a segment I like to call the lightning round. So this is a round I'm just going to ask you 3 to 4 questions and just answering with the first thing that comes to mind if you're ready for it.
Okay.
Okay, great. So what's the best use case of AI you've seen lately?
I would say I have always been impressed by Opus Clip. So you take a 1 hour video, put it in Opus Clip, and it creates like these 7 or 10 different clips, 90 seconds each with captions, auto captions. But the most interesting part is that you also get like different camera angles. So you like these videos, these clips are pretty much ready to, like, for example, we recorded this podcast. If you put that on Opus Clips, you can start putting those mini clips on social media right away. So that's very interesting. As far as B2B is concerned, I think enterprise search is what we are super excited about. And because we are building Swik AI, we have done some initial runs during evals. I think this is a product which will be probably embedded in every organization in the next 2-3 years.
Oh, well, you jumped ahead of my next question, which was what's one prediction about AI and B2B SaaS that you have for the next 12 months?
Okay. No, I have many predictions. I can use another
Well, give us one.
Yeah, I think in terms of enterprise, what is happening is that you might have read the MIT study which said 95% of the AI pilots have failed. It was like a very bad headline because when you go into the report, they themselves say that, it's because half of these pilots were really just trying to use ChatGPT to do something very complex, which is not going to happen. And then a lot of them were done by internal teams. They themselves said that 70% of the AI projects which were done with outside vendors were actually very successful. So long story short, I feel vertical AI products for complex automations and use cases is where the things are going.
Okay. And you may or may not have automated anything recently, but is there an automation that you built or the team built that delivered exceptional impact recently?
Yeah, we have a very interesting internal tool. We may actually sort of, expose it at some point of time. Basically, what it does is that it's called Outreach AI. So it can actually figure out the industry and the location and the specific job that the person does and what type of company and so many other details, and figure out what time of the week, what time of the day, and a custom message that can be sent for maximum sort of conversion. That is a product that we have been using, and it's like a very neat automation.
Are you keeping that all for yourself, or are you going to release that to the public soon?
You tell me, Russell. I'll probably do it.
Let me test it. Let me test it.
Yes.
Okay. Just want to make sure, Amit, that there's. Do you have anything upcoming for the next 12 months that you wanted to let us know about? Any specific events? You mentioned a couple, but perhaps something that I haven't covered on the show today.
I would just want to sort of, make like a mini announcement. It helps. I hope it helps some of your audience as well, that if there are people who are in doubt, who wanted to solve a problem, who have like 10, 15, 20 years experience, and they have faced this problem firsthand in a particular industry, and they wanted to build, this is a very good time, in general. Like, it's not just about GAI, it's about that this is the right time to start using AI to solve that problem that you always wanted to solve and become an entrepreneur. And if we could help in any way, would certainly love to do that. I think this is a very exciting time. This is the first time, Russell, in the history of, I think, business and entrepreneurship, that a domain expert can build a tech company. So far, in the last 25, 30 years, it was always engineers and techies like me who would build tech companies. But this is the first time that, let's say, there's somebody who has worked for like 20 years in the mining space, and they can actually build a tech company today.
I agree. I think AI has completely leveled the playing, well, not completely leveled it, has definitely brought in new potential for less technical founders. And also, if you have distribution, some sort of following, I would argue that you're almost steps ahead of these technical founders, because whilst they're technical, the hardest thing about growing a company is distribution. So I agree with your sentiment. Now is the best time for between now and the next 5 years, I think is the gold rush, if you will. One thing I like to do, closing out the show, is, Amit, if you were to meet a young founder today who's just getting started, what would your piece of advice be for them?
I think first learn every possible AI tool out there today. Do not start without AI. I think there's so much you can solve already. If you just lay your hands on everything which is out there and try out and try to sort of, look at your everyday schedule and see what all you can automate with AI. And by the end of a month, you will be so much ahead of everybody else. I would say that's the first thing. And the second thing is think about that it never happened that in the history of software, that software could think and take decisions and make knowledge from all the scientists and all the books and everything right there, in front of you. So how can you utilize it to solve a problem which was not solvable before? For example, doctors, very bad handwriting. People don't understand what they're saying because they talk some technical language. And like now everybody is just scanning all the radiology reports and MRIs and tests with GPT-5, and it already tells you everything that the doctor will tell you. It's insane. Like, nobody thought that this could happen.
I like that. Well, I think that's a good way to close out the show. Be AI first, dive head first in. Don't be afraid to start. Amit, thanks for jumping on the show today. For those who want to learn more about GAI Ventures or connect with yourself, what's the best way to do so?
So you can visit our website, gai.ventures. Also, if you are building or you want to build a startup, a vertical AI B2B startup in the US, there's a form there. A lot of people reach out to us through that. And then we are all, Vijay, myself, Kushal, we are all very active on LinkedIn and Twitter. So yeah, those channels are all open.
Well, the links will be down below. Amit, thanks again for jumping on the show.
Thanks, Asil. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for listening to the Scale Forward podcast, and we'll see you on the next episode.